Andy, speaking to some of the former Boise State players at the combine, they're telling me a little bit about your defense, your scheme. Give me in the best way you can, just what exactly is a stud in your defense? I mean, is this a 3-eye? Is this a 4? Is this a 6? What exactly is it? And is Kayvon Thibodeau it when you start practice on Saturday?
So a stud is a stand-up defensive end. A stud is what you would hear at the combine, for example, referred to as an edge guy, a guy that has rush and pass capability in terms of drops. And so the studs are the outside linebackers that allow us to be multiple with our fronts, allowing us to have multiple fronts and move in and out of things in terms of 3 or 4 man fronts.
On the right, Ryan.
Hey, Andy, Ryan Thorburn with the Register
doing,
Guard.
Ryan?
I'm doing well. Good to meet you. Do you think the Las Vegas Bowl had an impact in terms of you being on Mario's radar, and why did you decide to leave your alma mater for this job?
Initially, that's how I met Coach. So just getting to know Coach and having conversations with him and things like that, and then being able to expand our relationship out on the recruiting trails when we'd run into each other and stuff like that. So yes, I think it did. And then, sorry, your second part of your question there. The tradition of Oregon. You know, there's been a long line of coaches that come from Oregon to Boise State, where I formerly was, and the brand, the excitement here that Coach Cristobal is bringing. I think there's a lot that Coach is doing, and it's a very exciting place to be right now, and excited to be a part of it.
Back left middle, Rob.
What were Coach's priorities? What is he looking for from you? What kind of impact do you want to have? Is there a couple of bullet points that he was like, hey, I want you to make us better in this, and we feel like you're the guy for that?
Well, I think number one, defense always starts with mentality. Fundamentals and mentality make the scheme. And I think Coach definitely, is building that mentality here and is looking for that within our defense. And our defensive staff, that's one of our first priorities, is establish a consistent mentality, and not only on the field, but how we prepare. How we prepare, in the film room, how we prepare in the weight room, and obviously how we train on the field is how we're going to play. So I think that's one of the big bullet points that as we move into spring ball here, we want to establish that consistent mentality of hard work and grit.
Front left here, Matt.
Hi, Matt Breen from 24/7 Sports. When you've watched this team on film, I'm sure you have, what stands out about the defense? What makes you excited about this group of guys?
Well, the length. When you watch last year's defense on film, it's the length, the athleticism, the speed, and the physicality. And obviously, we want to continue, to develop those things and improve those things, as well as the mental aspects, and continue to expand defensively and be more multiple, both up front and coverage-wise, and be able to do some different things. So it's exciting. A lot of the pieces are in place, and obviously, we just finished up signing a really, really good recruiting class.
Front right middle, AJ.
Coach AJ Jacobson with Rivals.com. How long do you think it's going to take to implement your full package, what you want to implement? And when do you expect to just be going full speed?
Full speed right out of the gates, no question. And part of that is to implement our base foundation, our base schemes, which are somewhat similar to what has been done here in the past. So our number one goal is when we hit the field first day of spring ball is to be going full speed, in everything we do. And so that being said, it comes down to us as coaches and how we present and we deliver the information to the players in terms of the techniques and the schemes that we're doing. Obviously, it's going to be a progression throughout spring ball. We have time. We don't need to rush into piling the schemes and things like that on the players early. We want them to get out there and have fun and fly around and play fast and attack that ball.
Second row middle, Tyson.
Tyson Alger with The Athletic. Mario's talked about how kind of extensive his interview processes are. How did you go about preparing for this? When did it come on your radar? And what ultimately do you think kind of worked for you during that process and finding your fit here? Right.
No, and it very extensive. And after our initial conversations over the telephone and stuff, and once it was set up to come out and have the opportunity to get in front of the staff here, it really became about philosophy, what we believe in, and how we coach, how we teach, how we facilitate relationships, how we get our players to believe, and then leading into what is the philosophy, of a defense. And so number one, we got to be able to stop the run. We got to be able to stop the run. We got to be able to confuse and pressure the quarterback. We've got to eliminate explosive plays. And, there's situations that pop up in the games. We're not just out there calling games. There's field situations, there's clock situations, there's down and distance situations. Our players got to be situational masters. And how we attack the football is going to be a big part of our defense. And so just explaining those things and how you would implement the foundation of a defense, I think, was a big part of it. And then obviously then you get into the X's and O's, right? But the X's and O's are just schemes. You got to have that foundation first. And so that was a big part of the interview process.
Back right, Austin.
Hey, Andy, Austin Meek with the Register Guard. You were a Boise guy, played at Boise, coached at Boise. Did you expect to be in this position at a new school this year? And was it a no-brainer when Oregon calls, or did you really have to wrestle with the decision?
I've always, and just my mentors have taught me and stuff, my job is a job I have, and do the very best at the job that I currently have and focus on that and let the rest take care of itself and don't worry about anything else. And that's kind of allowed me to progress my career to where I'm at now. So I've never really thought about, hey, what's the next, job or whatever. I'm not into that stuff. I'm about focusing on the players and the program and the coaches, wherever I've been. And so when Coach Cristobal reached out to me about this opportunity, I'm not going to lie to you, I was really, really excited. I was really excited about it. Just like I said, from the standpoint of the tradition and the brand here and where this program is going and what the leadership here is doing. And you can see just in the last week that I've been here, the effect that it's had on the players. So really excited about the opportunity.
On the right front, Ryan.
Keith Hayward obviously had the co-defensive coordinator title last year, and I'm sure it's something he aspires to and was probably considered for. What's been your interaction with Keith so far?
Keith has been awesome. I've known Keith for a while now, even before coming here and stuff. And so that was a huge part of this deal, is having the opportunity to work with Keith, who is, has had a lot of experience coaching at a very high level in the secondary with different coverages and obviously different techniques within those coverages, and is a great mentor. He's a great man. And so to work alongside someone like that and with someone that can help me grow as a man, that can help grow as a football coach, and to help, ultimately help all of us lead this defense was very exciting. And he's the defensive staff in general. This week we've progressed really, really fast on the things that we needed to get done, because number one, they're a bunch of great guys, and number two, they bring a lot of experience and knowledge, and we're able to get through things and find solutions pretty quickly and come to a common ground on things that are what's going to be best for Oregon.
Anybody else? Ryan, we'll go right back at you.
Will you coach a position, or are you just going to kind of oversee the whole thing?
I'm going to coach the studs, the outside linebackers. Yes, sir. I'm going to coach it, but we'll meet together as a front seven. We'll meet as a back seven, wherever we see fit and where we need. And that's the way we'll handle it.
Right next to him, Jerry.
Jerry Ducks Illustrated Magazine. Sorry, Jerry Ducks Illustrated Magazine.
How you doing today, Jerry?
Good.
Good.
It might be a little too early, but Coach Levitt was basically on the field as defensive coordinator. Do you anticipate at this point knowing whether you're going to be up in the box or down on the field?
It's a little early for that, but if I had to say offhand right now, I would say up in the box.
AJ, just going to work our way down the front right there.
Coach, how much of the existing Oregon defense from last year do you think you're going to keep, and how much are you expecting to implement new stuff?
There will be some similarities within, and as we've gone through this last week, for the players to keep any consistent verbiage that we can, that is important, so that we can get on that field and fly around on the first day of spring ball.
Right here. James, Andy, Mary was talking about being very multiple in 3-4 base, but looking back at some tape from what you guys are doing, you saw a lot of 1 and 2 down linemen in this league, and with where this program aspires to, and the opponents clearly much bigger offensive lines. How much do you think you can really incorporate 1 and 2 down sets where it's almost like I'm guessing a 2-4-5 and a 1-5-5 at times? How much does that really apply when the caliber of opponents and the size of opponents is just that much bigger?
Well, I think in college football these days, you can see pro-style offenses, which you're not going to be in those sub packages versus pro styles. You're going to be more your traditional base packages and things like that, where we're not necessarily going to have a lot of guys standing up. You get into your spread teams that you'll play against. You got to have some multiple fronts to be able to have some different looks for protections, run game, and then obviously within the pass game. And so having being able to be a multiple defense allows you to adjust to the personnel you're facing each and every week. And it comes down to teaching fundamentals and techniques, and that way you can use different players in different roles, and it's a long season too. So being able to create roles for guys and create depth is a big deal.
When in your playing career did you kind of realize that coaching was going to be an option for you? And I saw that you went and coached high school shortly thereafter. Is that kind of where that fostered a bit?
Never as a player was I going to be a coach, and my coaches would tell me that hey, you're going to be a coach. No, I think I'm going to do something else. And a year out of being out of football and just missing the camaraderie and being around the guys and being around the game, I miss it, and I was scratching and clawing to get back around football any way I can. And that's when Dan Hawkins left Boise State, and I jumped into the GA world, and it didn't take long to figure out this is what I wanted to do. This is my passion. This is what I believe in. My dad was a high school coach growing up, so my brother and I would jump on our bikes after school and ride to the football field and be at practice and do all that deal, and here we are.
You good? Great.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the welcome.